I have a theory that he wasn't showing the ref the footage of the last play. He was actually showing him the footage of his dunk.
Welcome to the Athletic NBA show. It's Monday morning. It's Basket Buds time. We got a packed show today. Joel Embiid disrespected. Denver and Jokic's defense in question. LeBron James foul controversy. Jay King's minute. Can't wait for that one. Also the dumbest minute in podcast sports. That's our show. With us, Jay Kings, Trayvon Edwards, Dave Dufour. I'm not Zach Harper. I'm Mo DeKeel, but let's jump right to it, guys. Did you see Joel Embiid just completely destroy the Denver Nuggets yesterday? And afterwards, in his post-game press conference, he made a comment about being disrespected. Was not voted as an all-star starter this year. And on top of that, has been finishing second in MVP the past 2 years. Feels a lot of disrespect. Fellas, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think rightfully he feels disrespected.
What?
Yes. Joel Embiid,
second
come
in
on,
MVP
man.
Vote.
This season, man, like the all-star stuff. Joel Embiid is, I mean, if he's not the best player in the East, he's the second best player behind Jason Tatum, right? Or maybe third behind Kevin Durant. It's pretty close,
or maybe fourth
right?
behind Giannis. Like it's crazy
tight,
at the top,
right?
honestly.
It depends on the week.
Honestly, I feel like he's the most dominant player in the league currently at this moment. As far as the votes, I mean, all this stuff is a popularity contest. You really want to beat these guys out? Win. That's right. Point blank, period, at this end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, and I know, yes, Jokic ain't won nothing either. But to an extent, you know, every time you match up, you need to go at that guy. You know what I'm saying? And prove it and make it a proven point.
He did.
And he did.
He most definitely did.
And he delivered, points. But unfortunately, how the schedule's set up, it doesn't show that early. And both of these guys are, you know, very, very damn good at their respective positions. I mean, if Embiid was a power forward, or I don't know, it's front court because we don't even really give them the center whole position thing anymore. But yeah, I think it goes with the numbers and it goes with the wins and overall, it's just not individual performances and to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Like win shares are a part of that, a huge part of that. So go ahead.
I honestly think he just got screwed by the NBA when they made Jason Tatum a forward. Like, I think of him more as a two guard anyways. And I feel like that's more the position he plays. Jay, you could jump in and tell me that. But I feel like once they did that, somebody worthy of was going to miss out, right? We had four guys for 3 spots. You know, if I had a vote, and trust me, nobody cares if I have a vote, and I probably shouldn't in life. But
yes, you should, Mo.
Yeah, Mo of anybody on the should have a vote. So.
I appreciate it, Jay and Dave. But I would have picked Embiid over KD just on the pure fact of I don't even know if KD is going to be healthy by the All-Star game. That would have just been my preference, and it would have been an easy out. But the NBA screwed him and screwed kind of all the voters. Like, you had to pick. And I don't think there's a real thing of like, man, like this is disrespect. Like, okay, you're 4 out of,
I don't see KD missing this game, by the way.
Okay, that's great.
I don't see him missing that game. But if something did not heal as supposed to be, Embiid would be that guy. Clearly,
I mean, Embiid will get elevated to it.
What's stupid is we do that for positions, and then there's no center on the team, and Embiid's coming off the bench. It's like, if we're gonna go with positions, go with positions. If we're not, then just put the 5 best players in there. To me, Tatum actually had like a really healthy perspective about this. After the first returns of voting, he was in 4th place and got asked about it, and it was kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's going to be really tough for me to make this because it's Embiid, Giannis, and Durant, and so to him, like, it wouldn't have been disrespect finishing 4th because all those guys are MVP candidates, all those guys are MVP caliber this season, and I don't think there's any disrespect for Embiid. I think everyone thinks he's a monster. And
I mean, no, it's not disrespect. People just forget sometimes. I just forgot about Giannis like 5 minutes ago.
But I want to get to the you made a great point about the center position, because we do that for the All NBA. You have to have centers. And then so like the All-Star game, we don't. And it's like, I wish there was more.
Well, this is where a little bit of nuance there. I understand they wanted to go front court, back court, but if they just did guard, wing, big, which I understand is, that's how we talk about it and not necessarily how the public talks about it. But if you did that, then you would kind of solve this problem. But then it's like Giannis is a big, or is he a wing? To me, he'd be a big. So Giannis may be the starter anyway.
I think the real argument is going to be all NBA. This all-star stuff
is going to be nuts.
Very, very fluff. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, LeBron James is scoring 40 in the past couple of games, and guess what? The Lakers are still at the bottom. So this league is very tough, and I don't think we give it enough credit. You know what I mean? Because all these guys really can go in their respective ways, and they do so much for their teams that anybody can throw their hat in and say that. And that's the reason why I had that conversation about, do we really have one guy separating itself from the pack? No, because night in, night out, someone can have a night. And we kind of like teed this up to a point where we were like, oh, Jokic. And, and I mentioned that last week, as far as you can't say that Jokic is a clear runaway with this, because you see a performance like what Embiid just had, or you see a performance that Tatum just had, or LeBron just had, or Kevin Durant, and the list goes on, because we have so many great talents in this league that it's just not a dominant situation of how we looked at Michael Jordan and a Charles Barkley or a Karl Malone. Like, he was flat out better than most
LeBron
of the people
versus
he lined
everybody
up.
else too. Yeah.
Well,
it's just a product of how good the league is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, the fact is, like, we're not struggling to find 15 guys for all NBA. We're struggling to just pick 15 guys. We could do a fourth team and be like, God, that's, like, there are so many guys for those spots. And I just think the funny thing to me is the disrespect part, because I want to get back to that, because I know Jay has something here for that. But just go, Jay. Go.
No, so to me, like, it's not disrespect that you finished second in MVP voting. It's not disrespect that you finished a very close fourth to three of the best players of the generation.
Complete opposite.
Right.
It's the complete opposite.
But I think the way he sees it is that he doesn't put himself on the same level as Jokic. He thinks he's better than Jokic, and he thinks the last two MVPs that went to Jokic should be his. And I understand that. And as a competitor, that's probably how you should feel. And it felt like that the way he played against Denver.
You know what?
He was out to send a message. He was out to show the world, and that's fun. Like I don't think it was disrespect. It's absolutely not disrespect. But for him to take it that way and then go out and just destroy Jokic and score 47 and hit the three and do the MJ shrug, and there was nothing Jokic could do with him, and it was pretty bad.
To be fair, last year's was his. He just got hurt.
Yeah, you can argue it. No, for sure. I think the biggest thing for Jokic is injuries.
Agreed.
Yeah,
he's been great.
He always
Jokic,
killing, and then he get hurt.
Unreal.
Yeah,
Like,
Jokic just plays every game, and he puts up the video game numbers. And so, to me, like, I think that there's some nuance here to the MVP conversation that can get lost, because Jokic's numbers are so incredible. Like, they are really, he's in a level by himself. It's, the numbers that he puts up, and they are winning, right? So to me, Jokic he's the favorite right now, like to wind up as MVP. They're the best team in the West. He's putting up these kind of numbers. But then when you look at what Embiid is doing, 34 points a game right now, guys.
It's ridiculous.
They're 20-4 in their last 20 or some shit like that. 9-1 in their last 10. Like, this team is pretty good. They're going to be second. I think they're going to wind up probably second in the East. He's going to be in the MVP mix. And that's when I think you've got to go. It can't just be raw numbers. If it was, you'd say, well, look at how Embiid scores. Look at how he rebounds. And I think the defensive end with Embiid is really what matters. Now, he waxes and wanes there, but when he turns it up, man, that guy is one of the top 3 big men defenders in the league. When he ratchets it up, it's just that we don't see it as much in the regular season now.
I'm actually happy he didn't win the last 2 MVPs, because we got this yesterday. Because there was the animosity there. It was, you could sense it in the way he came out in that game, and he dominated, especially in the fourth quarter. They were losing. It looked like he was going to have a great game and they were going to lose. And he took over in the fourth quarter. And you said, Dave, he scored in every way possible, picking pops, rolling to the rim for dunks, popping for threes, knocking down shots. Like, it was impressive across the board, everything he did in this game. And I just think when you're watching it, it's fun. And I think this is the stuff there. I don't think he's disrespect. I'm with Trey. It's respect in that sense. Zach says it all the time when he does power rankings, right? People get upset about where their teams are ranked. And he's like, I picked you third out of 30. Like, it's or second in this case for Embiid. Like, it's pretty wild in that sense. And you can go either way. And I don't want this Jokic versus Embiid debate, but like, I just think when you're looking at him, is just phenomenal. And I just think the perceived disrespect is something players just have to do to motivate themselves sometimes.
It's crazy. It's crazy watching Embiid play, because he really does a lot of the time, as big as he is, as powerful as he is, a lot of the time he plays like a wing. Like, he's just ISO'd at the top of the key, at the elbow. And they just let him go. And to see a guy that size do all that stuff that you're typically associating with like a 6'6", 6'7" player, it's insane. It's insane. Like, the step back three off the dribble for a 7'2", 300-pounder. Like, what the hell are you supposed to do with that?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
That's the funniest stuff. Like, remember when he just started hitting the mid-ranger? He just out of
like
nowhere, he was like,
right.
yeah, I can just hit this shot from the elbow, from the nail all day long. And then his passing improved when the double teams came. I mean, this guy is, for as little basketball as he's played compared to his peers, right? He seems to still be learning, right? And he's playing at an MVP level, and it seems like he does get better every single year. I don't know, man. Philly's run that they're on is because of Joel Embiid.
I don't love when he flails. I don't love when he flops. Again, like I mentioned earlier, he's the most dominant outside of Giannis. You just can't stop it. As a fan of basketball, I would love for those two to defend each other up and down the court, but that's not how this shit works anymore. You put the best defender. I've seen PJ guard and Jokic, and he received boos, by the way. Welcome to Philadelphia, PJ Tucker. This will not be your first boo night.
Well, it should have been like how many home games they played?
A few weeks ago.
He should have been booed for a while, man.
Eagles are winning games. They're distracted. Eagles are in the conference championship, all of that. They've been distracted.
Yeah, he's yelling, keep that same energy, and he has no clue that the first seed Sixers were getting booed. So this isn't new. You know what I mean? Like, him and Jim Harden they're going to receive some if they don't get the job done. That's all Philly cares about. Bring one home.
Yeah, I also, for Philly, man, I think Harden and what he's been doing in fourth quarters has been huge. And it just allows Embiid to be fresh. Harden kind of coasts a little bit. It was a little bit like the Nets when he was there last year, where he coasts a little bit, then he picks it up, and he's just playing so under control. And Philly, look, if they can upgrade the PJ Tucker spot, which I think they can just internally, like if they just play their
really good.
No, he was good. He mattered for them down the stretch with his defense on Jokic, and that's all they needed. But sometimes that's all you're going to need in that instance. Like, him being able to switch Embiid off of Jokic and put Tucker there, and then make Jokic's night more difficult, is what you need from Tucker in that sense. And that's a luxury there. Like, I don't think they need to replace him that much. I think the key for them is going to be when Maxey and Harden are on the floor together. And I love that Maxey's coming off the bench, but when they're on the floor together, that backcourt defensively is scary. And I don't mean
Guess
that.
What, pals?
Guess
what, pals? I don't trust them. I'm sorry.
Nobody does.
How could you?
I'm never going to trust the Doc Rivers led squad. Shouts to Doc Rivers, though.
I'm starting to believe. I'm starting to believe.
Oh no!
I'm not gonna lie.
You already said it's a mistake, Jay.
I know I'm gonna regret
another
it.
minute.
I know I'm.
I got
regret
nothing.
it.
I got nothing against the Sixers. I think the Sixers are fun to watch at times. You know what I mean? Minivans out there shooting the ball well. You know what I mean? Tobias. I mean, you can go down the line. Like I said, James has answered the response to the fans. Everybody was calling him washed, me included, because I just didn't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying?
Shocking, right?
I can't even front.
We got to stop apologizing when guys play bad. Like, it's not my fault that he played like a guy who'd been, like had been missing pickup games for 6 months, much less NBA games. Like he was playing like trash. That's our job. We watch these guys play like trash. I got to tell you, he's playing like trash.
But
I just wanted to use the Shaq meme and say, like, my bad, I wasn't familiar with your game. But yeah, I mean, we know what James Harden is capable of doing.
Yeah.
I think any player that has played at an elite level, that have been the most valuable player of the league, you have certain expectations, and the clock is ticking. So again, Russell Westbrook is not a trash basketball player. It's just the expectations of how we've seen him at his highest point, and the same thing with James Harden, seeing them at their highest point, and what is next. So you get flashes of it, and it's like, is he done? Is he not? Is he converting to his new role? And he's showing up. So again, we'll see. I still don't trust him. I mean, I like Boston out of the East still, just because, top to bottom. And I don't know if I just teed up something for Boston, but yeah, that, they're still a team to beat to come out of the East to me.
There's a bunch of reasons to not trust them. Doc Rivers, James Harden's playoff record. Embiid always gets a freak injury during the playoffs. Like there's a million reasons to
PJ Tucker's not going to shoot.
I just knocked on wood for Philly.
Philly, but like you have so many weird things in that instance. So it's like, you can't trust them. We've seen them be dominant in the regular season and fall
If they
apart.
won the title, if they won the title
different
shooting 40 free throws a game, God, man, that would just be miserable for all of us.
They are different this year though. Like, and their starting lineup, the size can just be overwhelming. Like Milton is their shortest player, their smallest player in the starting lineup.
And they are just
immense. They're enormous. They're versatile, and they lose nothing offensively pretty much when they go to that unit, because Harden and Embiid are just awesome. And Harden is probably, like, people haven't even talked about Harden at all this season. He's quietly just diming everybody up, having a really effective season, and at a higher level than he was last season for Philadelphia. So I'm starting to believe. And then you bring Maxey off the bench. So this is different, and that's part of the reason the Jokic and Embiid thing is fun too, for various reasons. All of them perfectly legitimate. Those guys have been bounced out of the playoffs early sometimes. I know Jokic had one run to the Western Conference Finals, but there are no more excuses for these guys. Like, the supporting casts are there, they are better, and so it's going to be really fun to see whether they're able to kind of overcome some of those demons. Jokic has been amazing in the playoffs. Embiid has had times when he's been amazing in the playoffs, but there are no more excuses for those guys, and we're going to see more from them at that time and be able to judge them properly because they actually have guys around them now.
If this was the finals matchup, like if we get Denver Philly, who would you choose today?
That'd be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be fun, right?
I'm probably going Philly.
Yeah, same, because I just trust.
Yeah, I
trust their defense a little bit more.
You know what's funnier though? We've done this entire segment and we're about to move on, and not once did we utter the name Tobias Harris.
I did.
Well,
I missed that. Sorry, I missed it.
He's shooting well, but that's okay.
Well,
but that was all we said. That he's shooting well.
One split sentence, and I think that's kind of an important. Like he's an important piece. He had a big third quarter in that game against Denver that got them going after he no-showed in the first half. And I think that's an important thing. But speaking of disrespect, I'm going to disrespect Denver's defense, which has improved and everything that's gone with that. I do not buy this team anymore. I do not buy this team's defense.
Wow.
I can't.
Why were you ever buying it?
I wasn't buying their defense as much as I just thought, like, okay, they just need to be okay enough defensively and they'll survive. I can't anymore. This is really too difficult. And just watching,
because of Jokic? Was it all because of how Jokic got just destroyed by Embiid?
But it's not. This isn't the only game I've seen Jokic get destroyed. This was his primary matchup. But I've seen other games, like against the Lakers, where he gets switched on to LeBron, and then it's go time. And there's problems there. Like, this is stuff that he's going to have to face throughout the entire playoffs.
Expose him.
And I think this is going to be, like, everybody keeps telling us how great he is, how much better he is defensively and all the numbers and things like that. It's true. He's gotten much better as a help rotation guy. He's there in position. He does a good job at the rim. But when he gets pulled out of the perimeter, it's a problem. And that's going to be a problem for them in the playoffs. And I'm just pretty much just out right now because I don't think when you're playing him, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr., there's not enough things that Aaron Gordon, KCP, or Bruce Brown could do defensively. That's a New York
City turnstile, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is, man. Easy pass at the end of the day. I've never been on that type of train. I know Jokic could do it all on the offensive end. Cool. He can wall up and be a big loaf of bread for some in the post. But at the end of the day, if you got the luxury to expose him, do it every single time.
See, I actually think, I mean, in a regular season setting, yes, Jokic can look really bad. In a playoff setting, we've seen the Warriors just kind of trampled all over them, partly because of his limitations defensively. This roster actually has more answers than they've had in the past. And the athleticism they can go to with Aaron Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jeff Green. There's just Bruce Brown, Christian Brown. There's just a lot of guys that they can go to with athleticism. And again, like I said, that's part of the reason why this is fun. We're going to see if Jokic is good enough defensively in the highest leverage moments because the West is wide open. It is wide open right now. The Nuggets have, to me, as good a chance as anyone, but only if he can hold up. Can he hold up against Ja Morant coming downhill? Can he hold up against Stephen Curry coming around screens? Can he hold up against all of that to an extent that then his otherworldly offense can carry them to a series win? That's the fun stuff, man.
I'm glad you said, can they hold up in the highest leverage moments, Jay? Because I have noticed this year, my eye test, that Denver does turn it up late in games. And by the way, the numbers back it up. They are third in clutch defensive rating. They have a 96.1 defensive rating in clutch situations. That's a huge difference for them. The ability to crank it up a notch. And they have done this and turned the freaking water off to a lot of teams late in games when it's close. And when you've got a guy like Jokic who's a closer on offense, the rest of the guys have to pick him up on defense.
Tell me who's fourth in defensive rating.
All right, Houston. Okay.
Defense,
but the record
Jalen Green's
matters.
A defensive stopper.
Listen, they're 15-9 in games that have clutch, situations, which is was a 5-point lead or less in 5 minutes or less. I mean, this is a team. It's a good team. Like, we know that they're number one in the West for a reason. I do think that, yes, their defense, if you're thinking about the whole game, which we do, yeah, that defense should be better. The floor should be higher. I think they need to be like a top 10 defense. But what really does matter, and we'll see how it translates to the playoffs, because maybe they can turn it up for whole games. I worry about that. But what does matter is that end of games, they do seem to find that extra gear, Mo. And like, a lot of it is Jokic playing differently. He plays more drop late. Like, he's at the basket more. He's a little bit more physical. It's when they're doing that stuff where they have him blitzing and rushing, which is great because he's got amazing hands. I think that maybe they should switch to a little bit more of a traditional defense.
I'm going to push back on all that. And mainly Jay saying, like, in the regular season, yeah, he can look bad. No, the regular season is when he gets to hide and be propped up, because on some nights he's playing, but some nights he's playing Houston. Some nights it's clutch defense against Portland, who's also bad.
With that, I wasn't saying that he looks good in the playoffs. That was not my intention at all. He's been ruined by Phoenix. He got ruined last year by Golden State. What I was trying to say is they have more solutions this year to try to hide him and to try to get around that issue.
But we've seen enough NBA playoffs to know you can't hide guys anymore. You can't. The way they go, and I actually hate the way some teams do it, but all the matchup hunting that teams do, they will set screen. Okay, he pre-switched. Okay, now your guy is going to come up. They will burn clock until they get the switch they want, and that's Jokic versus Ja or Curry or, CP or Booker or whoever they end up playing. Like, that's the challenges that they have to figure out. And I'm sorry, like he's improved defensively. I'll give all that up. He's not improved in that area to the point where I can feel confident enough. And the funny thing is, the West is so screwed up they can make it to the Western Conference Finals, and I still won't believe because of that sort of situation. And that's what this is what makes the season insane. But I just can't buy into it. And then this was a straight one-on-one matchup, and he got cooked. And it wasn't, and luckily, I don't think there's a big man like Embiid in the West that he would really have to face. Like DeAndre Ayton ain't doing that or anything like that. That's the thing.
Well,
for
especially
them,
not that can hold up on the other end. That's the thing. Like, I mean, Embiid is
Mo
that
always
game
has
was
to
just
take
amazing.
shots at DeAndre Ayton.
Got
Always.
to.
he's that guy. He's that guy, Jay.
I mean,
no, he is not that guy.
if you're gonna pick a player to throw darts at, that might be the one, right? Like, I mean, he's the only guy who physically could potentially match up with Jokic, I think, in the West. And that's not even a matchup for Jokic.
He did give Jokic hell that one series, though.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by this team. And the other thing too is Jamal Murray's a problem defensively. Like when you're pick and roll down the stretch, when you're going at them, it's cool. I'm going to make sure I have a pick and roll where Jamal Murray and Jokic have to defend. Good luck with that. And I think those are going to be the answers. They have all the stuff behind them on the weak side and the rotations and all the pickups and things like that. Just the more I watch them, the more I look at that defense, and I'm just like, and I know it's improving, so it's insane, but I don't trust it come playoff time. And that's just kind of the disrespect I have.
Is their offense going to be good enough where it doesn't matter? Because that's possible too, where they just absolutely torch whoever it is, and Jokic is picking you apart, and Murray gets to the level where
he's been looking
scoring
so
30.
good. It feels like week after week he looks stronger.
And then Michael Porter Jr. is just nailing jump shots, no matter how tough they are. Like there's a lot that you have to handle against them too.
For sure. That's probably their best defense is their offense. But we've just seen it time and time again. Like it's probably good in the first round. We're probably going to see him do that and cook them with the offense and things like that. The deeper you go, it's the defense that matters. At the end of the day, you saw it last year with Boston's defense. It's going to come down to more of that stuff. And I think that's my concern for this team in the playoffs. Like as they get further, Trey called them out from the beginning of the year. This is the year, no more excuses. And he's right. And this is going to be an interesting view to how we get there.
No, he's going to hoist the trophy and going to say, they're not supposed to win. I never said they was going to win, but Jokic gets his third MVP and we go on about our business. And then we watch a champion that we're going to forget about. And yeah, that's it. It sucks. Let's hold these people accountable, man. I mean,
no more is MVP. Look, is the MVP as a regular season award? Has it just you just don't care about it at all anymore, Trey?
Nah, you have to. I mean, listen, I can't act like I'm
the
not
Michael Jordan MVP trophy.
Yeah, but
is that who they named it after?
Yeah, they named it after MJ. Okay. I can't pretend like expectations aren't set and like I don't want expectations to be set, right?
Right.
To a point not set, but met to my expectations, right? When you look at it. If I'm looking at the MVP, I want the most dominant player hoisting that trophy. I want the player that's going to finish the job. You know what I'm saying? Even though basketball is a point where it's a team sport, if you're dominant and you've proven that you're dominant, I don't like the idea that, I got hurt and now my team loses a bunch of games. Cool. Of course. That's why I make the big bucks. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm an all-star every year. I think it should be a little bit more of like, how far can you take us? You know what I'm saying? Because like, that's the thing. I don't want to get 57 wins, 63 wins, and then we get housed the first round. And now what? I got a trophy. That's empty. And I don't want to come back around and say, he's the best player. No, because the best player holds up the trophy.
So who are you arguing for right now?
I'm not arguing for any. I mean, my thing is, it's just this, right? Although I want the Nuggets to surpass this normalcy, although I see Jokic running away with his third MVP, I just expect more from him. He doesn't have to meet our expectations because media sets up expectations, unrealistic expectations. Because again, if Jokic won his first one, we're gonna be like, cool, he won his first one. We're gonna write the story about it. The second one, can he do it again? There's never going to be that real happiness of it. And that's what I'm trying to say is kind of like, it doesn't matter what we think. But as a basketball fan and to be considered one of the greats, like I never disrespect Charles Barkley because I know what Charles Barkley really did out there. You know what I'm saying? And he made it to the finals. Jokic got to make it to the finals personally for me, but he doesn't have to make it for himself because he's going to the Hall of Fame regardless. Like the resume speaks for itself. But as a basketball fan, I just want guys to do more. Like I see free Bradley Beal. I see free Damian Lillard. Like it's a choice. It's a choice. These dudes are going to individually moonwalk into the Hall of Fame. But as a franchise,
I don't know if Bradley Beal is going to get in the Hall of Fame.
No. I'm not saying that, but I'm just talking about like Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he could say all he want, like, yo, don't put me in talks with the trades, or I don't make this front office stuff. But people have to put people with you to make this thing work.
Right.
Now,
well, winning matters.
Now, if you never win again, I'm not gonna be mad at you personally. It was a choice. You chose the money over the winning. But again, these expectations that I have for these players, I just want them to be the best version of themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
like Jokic is going to have like 1 million horses when he's done. And we're never going to see this dude again.
No,
we're never going to see this
amazing.
Dude again.
Guys, let me ask you this. Just quickly before we move on. What do the Nuggets need to do for you? If he wins this MVP, what do they need to do? Do they need to win the title? Do they make it to the finals, or is Western Conference Finals enough? Like Final Four appearance is not enough?
No, first of all, they need to win the West. That's it.
Okay.
No, this year, that's what I said, win or bust. They need to win the West. They got needs, right? They went and got the KCPs and the backup point guards. It was Ish Smith or whoever it was to get all this stuff, right? And now they're shopping Bones Highlands, which I think is very dumb, but whatever. And if they make it to the Western Conference Finals and they win and they get to the finals, I say that's a start. That's like, okay, you shut me up. But to be okay with just second round, getting to the Western Finals and getting bounced by the Clippers or the Mavericks or whatever team you want to throw in there, the Grizzlies, that's a wasted year. That's a wasted. Shouts to the Kings. The Kings.
Yeah.
Hey, but all I'm saying is it's a wasted year to me, Dave.
Okay.
So the finals
or bust. And I honestly, man, like, look, winning is a part of greatness. Like we hold Bill Russell to a higher degree of respect than Wilt Chamberlain because he won. I mean, Bill Russell comes up all the time. Wilt comes up because he had some crazy stats. And I'm not saying Jokic is modern Wilt Chamberlain at all. That's not what I'm saying. But to a certain degree, you have to win to separate yourself and become like one of the all-timers. And I think this guy is
I'll tell you this.
A top 20 guy ever.
I'll tell you this.
His resume is incredible.
Embiid makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals and Jokic loses in the second round. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Jokic. I mean, not Jokic.
Well,
Embiid.
Denver won't be playing.
No. But I'm just saying, I'm going to literally say, stop comparing these dudes. MVP or not.
Yeah. All right. So before we get to our next topic, we're going to just do a quick ad, and then we're going to talk about LeBron not getting calls.
Today's show is brought to you by Chime. Visit chime.com/NBA show for more information. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Is it checking up on your credit score? Yeah, I didn't think so. Well, at Chime, that's exactly what they do for you. With their secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card, you can start to build credit with your own money. Chime reports your payments to credit bureaus to help you build credit over time. Their members see an increase of 30 points on average. All of this with no annual fees, large security deposits, or credit checks to apply. So start your credit journey with Chime. Sign up, only takes 2 minutes, and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/NBA show. That's chime.com/NBA show. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by Stride Bank N.A. pursuant to a license from Visa USA Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply for the secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card. Regular on-time payment history can have a positive impact on your credit score. Impact to score may vary, and some user scores may not improve. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply except at MoneyPass ATMs, in a 7-Eleven, or any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM.
So, Jay, I'm assuming we're at the Boston Laker game the other night.
What an insane ending.
Let's just there's no question. LeBron was absolutely fouled on that
100%.
last play.
100%.
No
The
question about
referee
it.
crew
Was
said
on
it
the
right
arm.
after the game. That never happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
you never see
we
the
scanned
was
refs
like, nope, we missed
acknowledge
it.
a mistake afterward.
They go
but
like, hey, that's our
they
bad.
did
We messed
right
up.
away.
No question about it. But this has been an ongoing thing for the Lakers in terms of just, I don't know. It feels like after every game, LeBron is complaining that he's not getting calls. Okay.
Hey,
You were there
you
up close. Trey, you got it. You look like you're ready to roll. Go, Trey.
I was
Like
going listen because I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear this agenda by Laker Nation. Shout out to Laker Nation. Again, LeBron's playing like a madman. You know, I complained about his 98 rating on 2K. He's shutting me up. Cool, right? Whatever. But Steph Curry's dealt with this problem. A couple other guys have dealt with this problem. It happens. It happens. It didn't cost the game. Like, this the thing. It didn't like decide the game. They still had to play overtime. Patrick Beverly missed free throws. They were up 8 at one point. There's so many different scenarios to this that could have decided this game different ways. But we're talking about this one play. This one play. What if LeBron gets the call and he misses both free throws? What are we doing right now? And I understand, yes, the officiation has been missing calls all year. We've been saying it all year, fans, media, players. Look, officiation has been bad and questionable this year. People have been getting fined, giving free money away at this point. But let's not act like this is the first time it happened. LeBron, very dramatic to fall to your knees, brother. You got a lot of basketball to play.
That was
that
so
whole
fun.
segment. That segment was great.
Listen,
He acted like he saw somebody pass away right in front of him.
I loved it.
Like that was a movie scene where he just watched his loved one get mowed down. And
I gotta say, guys, I'm gonna be
his
upfront.
knees.
I was rooting for the Lakers in overtime because I loved LeBron's reaction to being fouled and wanting to win. I loved that shit. I mean, it was over the top, but I thought it was real. Like, that was real in the moment. That was how he felt. Like, and I mean, we've all been screwed out of something and like kind of felt that way. I felt it with him, and I was rooting for this Lakers team. Is kind of scrappy. They're not really good, but they are fighting and they're in these games. Darvin Ham is like got these guys going at it, and he's incredible at challenges. But man, like, I was rooting for LeBron and the Lakers in overtime because of that passion. I love it. It wasn't manufactured.
Dave, you know what
It
the
was
refs
real.
did? You know what the refs did? By not calling that Tatum foul, they made us care about the Lakers Celtics.
They did.
Yes.
They did.
For
It's
a
great
split
booking.
second.
Yeah.
It was
amazing.
almost like somebody hit the button at Buffalo Wild Wings and said, hey, rival week.
I
No,
was all
rival
in,
week.
man. It was awesome.
Because I haven't cared about that matchup. First of all, I haven't cared about that matchup since Kobe versus the Big Three. I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't look at it like that. The Celtics normally do what they do and beat on them boys. They come to LA and they do their thing. It don't feel like winning time.
There was a crazy game with Jeremy Lin one year, though. There was a crazy game with Jeremy Lin versus Isaiah Thomas.
You see how that sound? That don't even sound real.
I knew you'd like that.
You can always count on Jay to just ruin it. It's
No,
always amazing.
That sounded like
Jeremy
some
Lin
multiverse
went
stuff.
bonkers.
That sounded like some multiverse stuff. Like, who played who? Like, was Isaiah Thomas a Laker at that time? Was he a Celtic at that time? Was NBA champion Jeremy Lin a Toronto Raptor at that time? Like,
Don't forget the
you don't
Chris
even
Clemens
know.
game.
Like, it's
man.
so nuts. But like, again, when that happened, because the craziest thing about it, I got a text. I wasn't even watching the game yet. I got a text saying Patrick Beverly. That's all it said. Was
Right.
Patrick Beverly. It wasn't the
drug tested
camera.
last night? Did he get
That's
drug
all it
tested
needed
last
to say.
night? I want to know.
I don't know, but it wasn't the camera. It was him getting ready to shoot. I turned it on. He's getting ready to shoot the free throw. He had 14 points. So I'm like, oh, he's scoring. Makes one. No, he misses. Makes
Misses.
one. And I'm looking like, so I'm like, okay. All right, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. This is a close one here. And then I'm looking at this whole series. Bron drives hard. Cool. No foul. Bong. He does the shit. Goes through all this hoopla. You know, and it's so bad. That shit was so bad that Charles Smith pulled up his own clip. That's crazy. When Charles Smith pulling up the Bulls clip, that's nuts.
It was, I mean, again, no question about it. But just the larger picture, like, I don't think there's a greater conspiracy, and the Lakers aren't getting calls. And
It's a
all
bad
of this
conspiracy
drama.
if that's
there
a
was a
conspiracy.
conspiracy, it would be
Hashtag
for the
the
Lakers
agenda.
to win and for LeBron to win.
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
be
It
honest
would be.
here.
That's all it would be.
The Lakers,
I would-
the Lakers have been a part of so many real conspiracies that have been in their favor. I mean, like Anthony Davis, the entire saga of getting him to the Lakers is a conspiracy, right? And that happened. Every conspiracy that someone with the NBA would come up with would be a pro Laker conspiracy. Nobody's out here trying to like get.
They'll come at you for the Chris Paul trade being vetoed.
Is Rui
Man, I was like 10 years old when that happened.
We're over the honeymoon phase. Is Rui still little Kawhi?
Oh,
No.
Yo.
No. No, he's not.
That's just wild.
But in the bigger picture, like most, I understand the Lakers, why there's so much frustration there. They think that the refs have cost them 4 games. And you look at the Western Conference standings, they're in 13th right now. If you give them wins in all 4 of those games, and I'm not saying they would have won all 4 of those games, but if you give them wins in all 4 of those games, they would be half a game out of 4th right now. Half a game out of home court advantage. And so the Western Conference standings are so tight, and every game matters so much right now for that Lakers team. Not just and from LeBron's standpoint, not just to climb the standings now, but also to show the front office we are worthy of going out and trading for a couple players who can really help.
So, I mean, is it Miles Turner? Is this who we're talking about as the guy that's going to be the dude who just signed the extension and can still be traded?
I don't know. It's got to be internal at this point. Unless they're going to give up. Look, you have to get off Russ's money, right? That's a lot. And of the teams that could potentially take Russ, like who do you think you're going to get? And are you willing to part with the 27 and 29 first round draft picks? That has been the same question we've been asking for 7 or 8 months at this point. What are you willing to do to make this team better? The thing is, they're not far off. And to push back on the lost 4 games due to officiating, man, that's almost every team. Somewhere between 2 and 4. Trey Kirby, shout out to Trey Kirby. He went through it on Twitter. I think that the Bulls have 3 games that probably would have switched with the last 2-minute report, which would have moved them up the standings too. We like being pedantic about the refereeing. At a certain point, it's like you either have to throw out all the refs and start over, or you just have to let it go.
Agree, but that one was as bad and as clear as it gets. Like he got smacked on the arm on the final play and should have been at the line to win the game.
Why can't they just review that? Like that to me is one of the most ridiculous things that this league does. You can in real time. You can review every single play, and I don't really want that, but that play in particular seems like contact at the basket. There should just be a guy who's like, oh, let me rewind that 4 seconds. Oh, yep, that's a foul, guys.
I'm actually against it. Just listen. This
well,
is
we
the
need
way
the drama,
goes.
man.
There's going to be a lot of plays
replay whatsoever.
There's going to be there's going to be a lot of plays that are going to go the Lakers' way. It's going to go back and forth. In the end, this is all going to even itself out, and the way this kind of plays out. And I just think like it hurts, and I get it for Laker fans. It's Boston, you really want to beat them, and all of this stuff, and everything like that. And we were robbed, and all of that. But I'm not buying this bullshit that there's a conspiracy against the Lakers, and LeBron's not getting whistles, and this and that, and all of that. Like this is not what's happening. And I think it's just the officiating's bad. And it's bad in all the games we've watched. It's not going to be honest, and they just blew it.
It gave us a magical moment, though, with Patrick Beverley going over and grabbing the camera. Just incredible. I have a theory.
Thank you, Patrick Beverley.
He got a tech for that, and I think that might be the greatest technical ever drawn.
Easily. And he gave us a meme for 2023.
I was impressed by that.
It was so creative. It was amazing. I have a theory that he wasn't showing the ref the footage of the last play. He was actually showing him the footage of his dunk.
Right.
Did you see what I just did? I should be the hero, motherfucker. We can't be going to overtime.
Well, he played his guts out, dude. He played his guts out. He played his guts out the last few minutes of that game. Hit a big 3, that put back dunk that I was like, wait, who the hell was that? I thought
then
I didn't
missed
know
a
if they
big
made a
free throw.
sub
First
or
dunk in
what.
3
It was
years.
crazy.
3 years. The guy's
And
6
then
foot
missed the free throw.
1,
That's
34
it.
years old. And he hit the big three.
Oh.
Like, he had a heck of a game, especially down the stretch. And then the
Yeah.
camera thing is all anyone will remember. Nobody else will care
All
about
right.
anything else he did.
Today's show is brought to you by our friends at Rocket Money. Visit rocketmoney.com/NBA show for more information. Did you guys know that the average person has like 12 paid subscriptions? Think about that. If you think you've only subscribed to a handful of services, you might want to go and double check. With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify and cancel all your unwanted subscriptions. Like, you know that streaming service you got just to watch that one TV show but you haven't used again? Well, with Rocket Money, you can cancel it very easily. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they've just completely forgotten about. Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify the subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want. Simply find the subscriptions you don't want and press cancel. Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/NBA show. That's rocketmoney.com/NBA show. rocketmoney.com/NBA show.
What a moment.
Enough stalling. Jay, are you ready for the Jay Kings minute? I have the timer here.
I don't want to do it this time. I don't want to do it.
No.
Oh no. Are you folding?
This is
No, I'm not
you
folding.
are
I'm
actually
not folding.
proving
It's just
Zach's
it's
point.
just
It is
it's a
so
sad
wrong
day.
that Zach's not here.
It's a sad day.
Here we go. Your minute starts now. Go.
It's just a sad day to do the Kings minute. They've lost 3 out of 4. They got pummeled by Toronto. How do you get pummeled by Toronto? Like, just bad. They're in a rut right now, and they're still in 3rd place in the Western Conference. They're still proving all of you guys morons. Domantas Sabonis is still a worthy all-star. He's been ridiculous, by the way. He's like sort of, I can't call him like broke man's Jokic, but that's sort of what he is, where he's just the hub of everything they do. He probably the best like dribble handoff game outside of Jokic in the league. Just shooters everywhere, and I don't want to do it today. It's a bad day to do the Kings minute. It's hard to watch this team fall on tough times, but you know what? This is what they used to be all the time. It's what they used to be as a franchise, as an organization. The fact that it's now an aberration rather than the norm. That's your minute. Is special. You know what? I've talked myself back into him. Let's go.
I'll tell you, the defense is a real issue. They can score crazy, but can they get a stop? And it's funny because
the answer is no.
Yeah, it's I do think that they've done a good job of maximizing what they had. I mean, getting Herter has been great. Getting Sabonis has been really good for them, although I think it's a high floor, low ceiling play. It's the defense. And this team may not make the playoffs still, right? Like this is one of those things where you get these midseason contract extensions, which I think are deserved, but this team
I'm going to push back on that. They're 7th in net rating. Like this is a team that has played, like, it's not like they're just
I'm not saying
totally
that
even in net rating. They've lucked their way to 27 and 21. They are a legitimate.
But they have an incredible offense. I mean, the offense, they put on points. You have to score 125 to beat them. But the problem is they regularly give up 125.
You have a pretty good chance of scoring 125.
That's right.
125 yourself. There you go. Well, somber Jay King minute.
Hey, they're up to 21st in defense. Just so you guys know. 21st. They're
Preston. Now you've talked yourself back into it.
I'm just saying.
But I can't wait for Zach to hear this. I can't wait for Zach to hear this. And you first half of this not even wanting to do the minute, because this is the whole point of the Jay Kings.
It is, minute. but it's crazy because you guys probably thought that me having the Kings minute, I would just talk about how bad they were every week and how wrong I was. And instead, this is like the second week all season where they've had a bad week.
We're making you do a
incredible.
parade every week.
No. This is just the start. They're on a long road trip, Jay.
Yeah,
Road trip. Already dropped a game to Minnesota. It's a long road trip.
This is an important road trip, and to be fair, they're playing a lot of shitty teams on this road trip. It's Minnesota, San Antonio, Indiana, and then 2 games against Houston after playing in New Orleans. So this road trip, I mean, if they just take care of business, it'll be totally fine for them. But going on the road for that long can be grueling. It
could be a very interesting situation.
As long as they don't let that Rockets game get into a clutch situation where the Rockets have the 4th best clutch defense and the Kings have the 26th clutch defense. They're giving their defense ratings 120 in clutch situations, but their offense rating is 130.
I'm surprised it's that good.
Amazing. They're incredible. I love it.
That's it. We've even gone too far on the Kings minute. That's it for today's show. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Dave. Thank you all for listening. Go check out all the writings on theathletic.com, even the stuff Jay writes. Thanks for tuning in.